Okay, in this segment, we will explain in details how market dominance will lead to market failure by looking at the welfare analysis of a monopolistic firm under a monopolistic firm versus the welfare of the social welfare under the case of perfect competition to really understand the effect or impact of monopolistic firms have on social welfare. So, in the previous topic, we have learned that factors such as externality and imperfect information will cause market to fail, right? Because it will result in over or under allocation of resources to the production of consumption of certain goods. So let's ponder over this question. So, are you saying that without um, externality and imperfect information, the allocation of resources would definitely be allocative efficient? In other words, are you saying that if we eliminate these sources of market failure, then the society will be using resource efficiently such that the right amount of goods and services are produced which maximize social welfare? In other words, P must be equal to MC, right? The answer to this question is no, that's not true because even though we have eliminated those sources of market failure, there could still be market dominance in the free market, right? In markets where there is imperfect competition, some firms will have more market power, i.e., they are dominant in that market, and hence there is market dominance, right? And in such a situation, you would observe an under allocation of resources to the production of this good that the dominant firms are producing, right? Because they'll be restricting their output in order to raise their price and hence profit maximize. Therefore, when there is market dominance, allocative efficiency cannot be achieved and there would be market failure. Okay, the allocation of resources will not be efficient. When will markets be imperfect? Okay, that's when in all cases other than perfect competition, you will see imperfect competition as the name suggests, right? So that would be your oligopolies, monopolies, and your monopolistic competition market structures. There would be a varying degree of market dominance in all these markets. Okay, so let's look at how dominance of firms or market dominance will actually cause market failure by looking at welfare impact. So in this table, we will illustrate to you the consumer surplus, producer surplus, and the total consumer surplus plus producer surplus that will represent the social welfare, okay, in the market for a PC industry and also for a monopolistic firm. So as we established earlier, the upward sloping MC curve of the monopolist can also be considered as the market supply curve under a PC industry, right? And this demand will be faced by the monopolistic firm, and it would also be the market demand curve of the uh, perfect competition industry. So in a perfect competition industry, you will observe a price of PPC and an output or quantity of QPC. And with this, we can derive the consumer surplus and producer surplus. The consumer surplus will be given by the yellow shaded triangle because that's the area bounded by the demand curve and the price level, right? So this is the total consumer surplus, and we use numbers to represent the area. And the producer surplus under the PC industry will be bounded by the price and the supply curve, right? So we just try to estimate that this will be the supply curve, um, even though there is minor inaccuracy, but roughly that will be the producer surplus under a PC industry. So the total area will reflect the total social welfare under the PC industry. That would be the combination of producer and consumer surplus. How about a monopolistic firm? So if the monopolistic firm operates in the market rather than many small PC firms, then we observe that a monopolistic firm will produce an profit maximizing output of QM and charge a price of PM as given by the downward sloping demand curve, right? So with this, what's the consumer surplus? Well, it will be the area bounded by the downward sloping demand curve and the price. So that would be the purple color triangle, which is number 1. So that would be the consumer surplus under a monopolistic firm, and the producer surplus would be the area bounded by the price and um, MC curve, right? Or the supply curve, right? So that would be the green color area. So that's number 2 plus 4. So that's producer surplus. And the total social welfare will be the combination of both consumer and surplus and producer surplus. So that's area 1 and 2 and 4. So what do you notice about the social welfare under a monopolistic firm and under a PC industry? You will notice that under a monopolistic firm, the social welfare is lesser. By how much? What's the difference? It will be by the red color area, which is 3 plus 5, right? So these two small triangles will make up the total deadweight loss to the society or loss in social welfare, right? As a result of the monopolistic firm operating rather than many small PC firms, you would observe a loss in social welfare of this amount as shaded in red. And therefore, there is market failure because of underproduction of this good by the monopolistic firm of QPC. So this is the extent of underproduction, right? Because just now we established earlier that QPC will be the socially optimal level of output of this good, because that will be the output where allocative efficiency is achieved, right? Because P is equal to MC at QPC, right? P is equal to PPC and MC is given by the MC curve, which is also PPC, right? So QPC would be the socially optimal level of output, but the monopolistic firm will be producing less than QPC and hence will cause an under-allocation of resources to the production of this good and hence market failure. At the same time, even without doing this welfare analysis, we can already conclude that the monopolist will not be allocatively efficient because its price is more than its MC, right? So all in all, the market fails in a monopolistic firm, in a market dominated by monopolistic firms, because there will be too few resources that will be allocated to the production of this good. And there is under allocation and underproduction, and therefore it is allocatively inefficient. And more resources should be devoted to the production of this good.